Hello, beloveds, and welcome back to Soul Sisters of the Violet Flame. This is going to be a bit of freestyle. Whatever comes out, comes out. We have both the sage and the palo lit to clear out all that negative voltage. And now we're going to say a quick prayer over this deck. The Seed and Sickle Oracle is what we are going to begin this session with. Alright, but first, here we go. Dear source of all that is, was, and will ever be, I thank you today and each and every day for all that you do and all that you do through me. I call upon you at this time to guide me in summoning the angels of the highest white light, as well as our ascended masters, to guide, protect, and assist with clear, concise communication at this time. Please surround us in your light of protection throughout our day. Be at our side and guide our words and actions to come from a place of love. Please clear our energy and vibration completely of negative thoughts and beliefs, releasing fears as well as self-limiting beliefs. Help us to fully and completely experience love, light, and joy that is present in every moment, and guide our path for the highest and greatest good. So it is, so it is, so it is. Now, I just did a session with this deck, so we're also going to do a clearing. Blessed ones, in whom I live, move, and have my being. From you all things emerge, and unto you they do return. I ask this day for these cards to be blessed with clarity, love, and wisdom. May it be so. So it is, so it is, so it is. Here we go into the Seed and Sickle. This is going to be the signifiers for this particular message, and then we will go into at least one other deck to further the plot. Alright, here we go. Let's do a split. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Let's bring some sustenance to this message. We have a card out. We'll be reading from the Dawn guidebook, as this deck comes with a dawn and a dusk guidebook. And I'm new to this deck. I don't follow enough readers to even see this deck. So, yes, here we go. And interestingly enough, the number 1 as well as Birch has come out. And this lighting is not doing any service to this card. Maybe that will help. Maybe not. Entirely, it's just so washed out, like you can barely read it. But yes, it is Birch and the number 1. So let's first look into the significance of the number 1. And then we will go into the guidebook. Just so you know, and I'm being fully transparent here, this is going to be a combination of insightful and intuitive messages during this session. So don't get it twisted. Ones, of course, they represent new beginnings, independence, as well as the ability to create reality. It's also a sign to take charge of your life and align your actions with your true purpose. It reminds you that you are connected to source of all life and that your soul has a special role to play, as it does. So first we're going to go into the guidebook. Birch. It's in the spring section. There is a spring, summer, fall, and winter section to each guidebook. Birch. In Irish communities, the traditional winter Yule log is cut from the birch tree. A broom of birch twigs is used to brush out the dust of the old year and bring in the new. And household fires are doused and then relit from the central Yule fire to bring the community together. You are facing a new beginning, but do not embark upon this future alone. You will have a stronger start if you rely on friends, family, or colleagues to support you through your first steps. Do not fear removing what is past its use. So already a couple of inquiries going on here with the birch card. The first inquiry is, okay, let's see, which one do I want to start with? Because there's two different inquiries I want to go on here. So first we're going to inquire what is past its due. Like what has to go for this new beginning to be initiated. Going into the Angel Tarot. Here we go. What needs to be removed from the past that has overstayed its welcome? It could be anything. A person, place, thing, situation, concern. One more pass. If I don't get a card, I'll have to do a split. And here we have it. The Ace of Air. The Ace of Swords. Living in your own truth is what I'm getting. And also, this new beginning is still going to be a bit of a challenge. And getting disciplined and structured well enough to see the truth of your own situations. It's the denial. Some form of denial is coming through here for me. Some kind of denial. Seven of Fire, but in reverse. You haven't been standing your ground. With all seven of these wands looking like they're actually coming your way, I see. This is why discipline is so important. Getting past that denial, because you're going to have a lot to choose from here, and you're being guided to choose your battles wisely, because again, it's going to be a challenging new beginning, and for some of you it's going to feel like a battle. And you haven't been standing your ground, or you haven't been making very wise decisions in the past. So you need to let go of the denial. The denial has wore out its use. Some of you with this Two of Fire at the bottom, it's like you've been resisting your own dang awakening for some reason. Also, a new partnership where you have been liable for some of the decision making. So while you're defending yourself and your decisions, you have also been in this state of denial about where you could have been involved with why things didn't turn out the way that they were expected. We have the Magician in reverse. You weren't ready. So you were making decisions on commitments that you were not ready for, and you did not want to admit it. You denied it. You denied having any fault or involvement in situations going south, but the Magician in the reverse says otherwise. You were not ready. You got overconfident, big-headed, and you took on a commitment that you were not ready for. Whether it's in a relationship, romantically, or business, this is a partnership of some kind that went because of your denial. And having a just really poor attitude about life in general as of late, so it seems. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this commitment that you were not ready for. And then we'll discuss how to get through it. This hit the floor, so it's coming to the door. The Ace of Earth. Something involving contracts or documents. Somebody did not read the fine print here. And it put a block in your inflow. As well as created a delay for a new business venture for some of you. And with that Three of Fire at the bottom in reverse, things, again, confirming that things are not looking so good. Ooh, and out comes the High Priestess, but she's a little sideways. So you've been doubting your intuitions. Doubting your intuitions. And just making poor decisions based off of options that have already been presented to you. So there's yet another thing that you can do away with and get rid of, is those options that don't work. You're going to have to tap into your own thinking and creativity, but also next time follow your gut. Follow your gut. You ignored it, and now you're dealing with the results of it. Some poor decision making. For some of you, is your belief system. And I'm here to tell you, because I've experienced this myself, and I've been told this by others. Some people just don't give a flying fart about what you believe. They don't. They care more about what you know and how much you care about what you know. Because if you don't care about what you know, then they aren't going to care either. One more shuffle. Here we go, back into the Angel Tarot. And 2 cards wanted to come out this time. You haven't been carefully considering your decisions. Again, you've been just jumping the gun based off of the options already presented. We have the Lovers and the Star. So you are being dishonest with yourself and others about how you truly feel about making long-term plans. For some of you, you're working with somebody, living with somebody, or you're in a relationship with somebody where you are not very optimistic about the long haul. And because you haven't been wanting to put in any emotional or creative involvement, you're just going with whatever options have already been presented. Like following the leader, so to speak, and handing all of that decision making over to another. Because in your mind, if anything goes wrong, it's not going to be your fault because you didn't make any of the decisions on it. So avoiding responsibility and avoiding accountability. I'm seeing what looks like a snake wrapping around the tree. Some of you are feeling constricted. And you don't want to admit it. I'm getting that some of you are just putting on this facade like you're tougher than nails, and it's absolute BS. Whether it's your belief system or you're just very type A, very stuck in your ways. So, and you don't like to deal with any kind of confrontation or challenge. So you brush off the decision making on somebody else with the concern that if it goes wrong, well, at least if it goes wrong, it's not going to be your fault. Instead of just contributing to the decision making to ensure, to be preventative, to ensure, putting your heads together, to ensure that it's not going to go wrong. All right. Now let's talk about, okay, a stronger start if you rely on friends, family, and colleagues to support you. So, what more to rely on? What more to rely on? From the way it seems, a better fit. A better fit, whether it's in work, family, or romance. Like you're in denial. It's like you got comfortable, but you're not happy. You're in denial that you need to just end it, get out of it, move on somewhere else. I'm getting that some of you are feeling as though you wouldn't be able to make it on your own, and that's what's keeping you stuck. Whether it's a business venture or romance. We got the Page of Water, but it too came out sideways. yeah, the relationships that you're in are not going to be moving on to the next phase here. It's not happening because it was more in reverse than sideways. Because if it was sideways, it would just nullify the energy. And it's not. It was a little more upside down. So yeah, things are not going to be moving forward very smoothly with the choices that you've already made, and being afraid of making more decisions because of the if you've already come to that understanding, that's not going to get you anywhere either. You have to face these challenges. The great news is you don't have to do it alone, but you have to change your environment and the setting. Like you have to, and even like the characters, so to speak. I'm using analogies here, okay? I'm just using analogies. You have to switch it up so that your options are also changing. Because something that you don't want to make a decision on or that you're otherwise in denial about is what's actually making you feel constricted. It's just not how you are identifying it. And it's preventing you from moving into a new phase of your life. The Nine of Air is at the bottom of the deck, but it's also in reverse, and it speaks on expecting the worst. Well, the energy that I'm getting is that you're still expecting the worst. However, we have the one who is still pretty, like he's sitting up and he's aware. I'm saying he because unicorns that have horns are typically males. Rarely is a female unicorn actually going to develop a horn, as that horn, it represents not only the connection, like that connection between the physical and the spiritual realms, but it also represents the male reproductive parts. And so I just, I go with the facts here. So he is upright while everyone else is either resting or has their head down. So what I'm getting from that is that it's like you want this change. You want the change, you know things need to change, but in order to take the first steps, you also have to admit the part that you played in it. So you're up and you're contemplating that. See, the one is up and the rest of them are resting. So it's like the ones who are sleeping, they're not for you. They're not for you. And you're going to figure that out. This is where the pruning is actually coming in right here, is with this Nine of Air. So there is still hope in this situation, because at some point in time you're going to move past that denial. You're going to move past that denial for sure. And you're going to be losing a bit more sleep. But at this time, you're not really looking at it like you're losing sleep. It's just more worth it to you. Like you're a better observer when everybody else is like chill or resting. And then you can somehow think better. Some of you may actually be more nocturnal, and you've been denying your body of the organic nature of your own body being nocturnal, because you could be caught up in matrix BS where you are on a schedule that doesn't match the natural rhythms of your body, your own circadian rhythm here. And it's causing you to be scatterbrained and out of focus. So instead of having the ability to take the time to think when you're actually in that moment, you have to wait until later. Like, you need more time. You need more time to think. And before, you weren't taking more time to consider. So at somewhere in this storyline, you're going to go from being in denial, and then, like, you just don't want the rest of the world to know that you're up contemplating it. So you're waiting until they are in their resting stage for you to commit, to put in your energy. Here's the thing. Nobody's paying attention. You have to just do away with what's not working anymore. Because I'm seeing repeat after repeat after repeat of trying to do the same things and have the same goals with the same people and same situations over and over and over again. It's up to you to get off that roller coaster. It's up to you to get off that carousel. And this is good news with that 9 of air. I don't normally say that. But again, this is both insightful and intuitive messages. And my intuitions are telling me that even though this 9 of air is in reverse, part of you is still expecting the worst, but you're still up at night pondering, considering, weighing, so it looks to everyone else like you're not participating or taking accountability or responsibility. But it's like when all eyes are on you and you feel that pressure, it's like you got stage fright or something. Weird. I mean, it's just weird how that all came about when you already had a support system around you. And yet everything was going wrong. So not only do you need to adjust your own attitude and BS, but also find yourself another support system. Because it's not aligning. The synchronicity is not there, is what I'm trying to say. Tell us a bit more about this. The 4 of air, time to rest. Again, this is confirming that you need to allow more time before making your next decision. And it doesn't seem very time sensitive at all. It does not seem time sensitive. Especially with the Lovers card here, also reminding you to carefully weigh your decisions. This is long-term, heavier energy. Not heavy like heavy density down here in a 3D. But, it's heavy because it's good-ish, if you get what I'm saying. A little smoker lingo, even though I'm not a smoker. I get the lingo, because I once was. Alright, so. And the High Priestess, both of them. Consider carefully what you want before acting and carefully weighing your decisions. So, yeah, you are not going to be moving on into the next phase until you're not only going to have to change your surroundings, but you're also going to have to change your approach. And take your time this time. No just choosing from already selected options or already offered options, blah, 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 blah. This is fresh and new, and it's going to involve your logic and creativity, both. It's going to have to come from you. You can't just pick from an option that was already presented. It's just not going to work. And you clearly cannot work around or with the same group. These so-called supporters are not being very supportive when you're the only one awake. I have to leave it alone from there, or I'm just going to start talking in circles. So there you have it, beloveds. I hope these messages find you well. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Happy Monday and brightest blessings.